Peter Odochinde kanyanirize PDG waffe Xavier. PDG Xavier, you're most welcome to Kampala Daybreak.
Xavier is on the road.
PDG Xavier, you're most welcome to Kampala Daybreak.
If not, he's hiking somewhere, some mountain.
Thank you. Good
Hey,
morning.
Marion, why are you welcoming Xavier? Nena kunyinji haruhochi.
Who? Me?
Someone welcoming Xavier is so nervous. Can we welcome our governor with a lot of vigor and energy?
You people from up country have a lot of energy. You can do so.
Morning.
People like Donna are very bright this morning.
Okay. Oh. Now that you mentioned Donna's name, the president of presidents, from our international partners, Donna, a very good morning to you, and thank you so much for leading a big delegation together with VCC and CMP of Augustus. Friends, allow me to draw your attention right now to the commencement of our fellowship by voicing, as usual, the amplified voice of the daybreakers that are so grateful to each and every single one of you that joins us every Thursday morning to have a fellowship. And I must say, because of that, we are so perpendicular to the morning cruise, exciting commencement of the fellowship. Thank you very much, and thank you. Good to have you. So again, I would like to appreciate the party group Blackberries. We thought that now are the days of the iPhone, but no, the Blackberries are still firing. Thank you very much for organizing and hosting these fellowships in this month of economic empowerment. So I would like to invite the dedicated one to guide us through the lineup for today, and we'll right away commence our fellowship. Over to you, Rotarian Irene Katende. Guide us through our lineup for today.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. Good morning, Rotarians, Rotaractors, and our guests this morning. Thank you so much for waking up with us. The lineup for this morning is as follows. The grace will be led by Rotarian Farah, the loyal toast by Rotarian Jimmy Ogwal, the four-way test by Rotarian Yerusa, Objective of Rotary by Mama May. Introducing our guest speaker, it's A.G. James Onyoe. Q&A is by PAG Timothy Basima. Vote of thanks is by Timothy Basima. Statistics will be read by Yedida Nyakato, and the final toast by Rotarian Jane Opito. Rotarian Farah, can you lead us into the grace, please?
Good morning, everyone. The common grace. O Lord and giver of all good, we thank you for our daily food. May Rotary friends and Rotary ways help us to serve thee all our days. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. Jaja Mzungu will share recording with you. I will invite you, Rotarian Jimmy Ogwa, to give us the loyal toast.
Yes, good morning, Mr. President and all Rotarian guests and Rotaractors. Let's share the royal toast. For the wonderful country we have, and the leadership which we have, and the peace we enjoy, let's toast to His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda.
To His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda. Rotarian Yerusa Nyangoma, give us the four-way test.
Good morning, Rotarians and Rotaractors and all guests on call. Our four-way test as Rotarians is of the things we think, say, or do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendship? And will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you so much, Rotarian Yerusa. Mama May, Major Donor May, please carry us forward with the object of Rotary.
Good morning, my friends and colleagues. The objective of Rotary is to encourage and foster the ideal of service as a basis of worthy enterprise, and in particular, to encourage and foster. Firstly, the development of acquaintances as an opportunity for service. Secondly, high ethical standards in business and professions, the recognition of worthiness of all useful occupations, and the dignifying of each Rotarian's occupation as an opportunity to serve society. Third, the application of the ideal of service in each Rotarian's personal, business, and community life. Fourth, the advancement of international understanding, goodwill, and peace through a world fellowship of business and professional persons united in the ideal of service.
Thank you so very much, Mama May and friends. For our own digestion, I will leave the object of Rotary projected over there as I welcome you, colleagues and comrades that have Rotary information. Please, you're welcome to immediately unmute your microphone and share with us the Rotary information that you would have in the next 2 minutes or thereabout. So friends, you're welcome to start to take it away with Rotary information, if any. Okay, I see no hands and no microphones unmuted. I would then welcome you, our project director, Rotarian Wilberforce Amanya, to please share with us the Rotary information that you could have.
Thank you, President. Good morning to you, Rotarians and friends on call. President, I would like to inform you all, the members of Rotary Club of Kampala Daybreak and other friends, that the Rotary Club of Kampala Daybreak will be responding to the Ask Call, whereby we have dubbed the campaign that a tree for every Rotarian that is due and upcoming that we had set on 30th of October. But also I'm happy to inform you all that the Rotary Club of Kampala Daybreak is taking on a partnership with one of our biggest local companies, Ambitious Construction Limited, for which we had a meeting yesterday. And therefore they will be our partners, and they have committed to give us 500 trees in this project. And we shall be having a meeting, projects meeting before the weekend, stamp out the details, take on this partnership. And a new date will be communicated to you after we have hammered all these details. And also, I would like to inform you, friends, that on 13th of November, the Rotary Club of Kampala Daybreak, in partnership with Mengo Blood Bank, will be having a blood donation campaign. So I'd like to invite you all to please respond when called upon. I thank you, President.
Thank you very, very much for that information, and especially for giving us ample notice for those that are looking forward to the blood donation on 30th, to make sure that we prepare and purify our blood for donation come the 30th of November. So friends, as you very well know, we are into the month of community economic empowerment. And I would like to trigger a little bit your mind of some of these facts as usual that we have always shared. Did you know that 70% of the world's poorest people live in rural areas? And not just that, they depend on agriculture and related activities for their livelihood. What does this mean? That as we engage Rotary to strengthen local entrepreneurs and community leaders, and in particular women in impoverished communities, I think agriculture and related activities to agriculture should be given close and keen attention. Friends, empowerment calls for leadership. And I'm happy to invite you, Rotarian Dr. A.G. James Onywen, to unveil our guest speaker this very morning, whom we are super charged and blessed to have. A.G. James, I'll stop sharing
thank you very
the
much.
screen so you can share your screen.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Yes.
I think I don't have sharing rights. Maybe you can put it on the screen yourself.
No, you have them, James.
Are you sure? Okay, thank you. That's good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. President. I'm extremely privileged to introduce our speaker today. Our speaker, this is the first forum. I'm also announcing that she's her company called Coach Koeji is a strategic partner with Jim Roberts Consulting Limited, and we're bringing into the Ugandan and African market a world-class product in leadership development and coaching. Our speaker today is Ruchira Chakravarti, and she is a professionally certified coach with the International Coach Federation. She's a frequent speaker on emotional intelligence on TED. I know some of you watch the TED Talks. That is really the cream of speakers. She's a Gallup certified strengths coach. And let me see if I can move the screen. The company that she leads that we're now partnering with has a presence in a number of locations around the world. If you'll notice, she always sets up in premium locations like the United States, UK, India, Singapore, Indonesia, and of course, Uganda. The person we are talking to is a highly regarded coach, coaching companies like Microsoft, Ideas, Daimler, of course, those of you who drive Benzes, you know Daimler, and of course, HLB Jim Roberts. She's an award-winning coach. On the 6th of October this year, she was awarded a Certificate of Excellence in India as the Best Performance Coaching of the Year. She got the Best Performing Coaching of the Year award. And there you are. That is the award that she got. So there could have been no better person to talk to us about strengths-based leadership like Ruchira. Ruchira, you're welcome, and the floor is yours. But I will still give it back to the president to officially welcome me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. A.G. James Onywen, and no better person would we have to introduce and welcome you, Ruchira, to speak to us this very morning. Please, you're very welcome. And you have our audience for the next 25 minutes.
Hello, and a very, very good morning to all the Rotarians here from Kampala Daybreak. And thank you for the very, very warm invitation. All of you that I have been interacting with, multiple executives, multiple leaders over the last few weeks with James, tells me that it is a very, very warm continent. And today, just the congregation of so many strong, mindful, willful, and heartful leaders just goes to show that this country has a lot to offer, and the countries worldwide can learn a lot from individuals and leaders from the country of Uganda. So thank you so much for having me. And today I'm going to talk about today what I intend to do. Let me tell you what I have chosen to share with all of you and why I believe that's important. I am an industrial psychologist, and I work with organizations, and I work with senior executives in the organizations to in matters of leadership and all of that, of course. But I'm also an organization builder. When I was 23, I was hired as the head of HR and operations for a startup organization that had 20 people and less than $1 million in revenue. Brick by brick, stone by stone, piece by piece, that organization was built to 1,000+ company in 9 years. And they went from a revenue of less than $1 million to $40+ million with zero dilution of equity. And how was this achieved? Without taking funds from the market, without putting their company or their houses as collateral, without going to venture capitalist firms and seeking for monetary assistance. It was an organically grown firm. From children, from kids who had registered this company at the age of 16 with funds that grandfathers and grandmothers had given during birthdays as gifts. That's what the organization was registered with. So my history goes back all the way to working with people, building companies ground up. Today, I work with organization leaders right at the top. But there's one thing that doesn't change, and that is to work with people with who they really are, not from a point of view of working with them to change them or modify them, but to understand their strengths, what makes them good, and how is it that you can leverage what's already good to make it great. And that is the view of strengths that we take. It is never ever our weakness that needs attention or needs fixing. Weaknesses are merely an overutilization or underutilization of our strengths. There is nothing that the human mind cannot do if we decide that we are going to do. However, there are natural inclinations that we are born with, which when tapped into, which if tapped into, which if understood, which if given the right kind of attention, right kind of nurturing and grooming, can turn into something absolutely beautiful. And with that, I would like to share a very, very small video with you. I hope this works. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see.
Thank you.
Do you ever wonder why you make the choices you do? Why some things come naturally while others don't? Why you are drawn to certain activities and not to others? There's a simple but powerful reason: your talents. When you understand your unique talents, you have the power to harness them, and your whole world can change. We see talent in people around us every day. The patterns of thought, feeling, or behavior that give them a unique edge. Sometimes it may even seem effortless. In fact, our talents are the keys to our innate potential. When we tap into them, we act with more confidence, inspiration, and direction. But we often take our most powerful talents for granted, or we may not even be aware of them. That's why the Clifton StrengthsFinder was developed, to help you discover your areas of greatest potential. Grounded in more than 5 decades of study, the Clifton StrengthsFinder is an invaluable tool designed to help you identify and activate your talents and strengths for greater happiness and success. After completing the assessment, you'll receive a personalized report describing your signature themes of talent and an action plan designed to help you unlock your innate potential. Performing at your best is easier than you may think. When you approach your work, relationships, and community from your personal areas of strength, success follows. So what are you waiting for? Transform your world today with the Clifton StrengthsFinder. Unlock your potential.
Small sneak preview into what strengths really are about. But let me share a story with all of you. In the 1960s, the University of Nebraska enrolled 6,000 10th grade students for a study that was conducted over a period of 3 years. Now, what they were really trying to do is they were trying to teach children speed reading. So the beginning of the program, they saw what is the best time that students were making. And they saw that the students who were reading the fastest were at 300 words per minute. The students that were reading the slowest were at 90 words per minute. And then somewhere kids who were at an average were about at 150. So they made various permutation combination of groups to see which was a winning formula for teaching children speed reading. So they made groups of the fastest students with the best teachers, fastest students with the average teachers, best student with average teachers, best student with, children who were slightly slower. They made all kind of permutation combination. And over a 3-year period study, what they found, of course, was the fastest students with the best of teachers were producing the best of results consistently. But that wasn't the surprising part in the study. The students who were at 90 words per minute, who were the slowest to start with, do you have a sense of where they likely went after a 6 months, 12 months rigorous curriculum of teaching? Would anybody like to take a guess of where the slowest students went, how far they went? From 90, what do you think became the best number? Any takers? Any 55? So we are saying that from 90 it became 55. All right. because it wasn't their strong suite. So maybe they didn't make so much improvement. All right, that's one point of view. Anybody else would like to take a guess?
Maybe double.
Maybe double. So 90 became 180. All right. Yes, double is a very good number. Certainly a good number and talks great effort. 150.
I say 120.
120. 90 became 120. So you're saying that they became better, but marginally so. And Rachel there says 300, and she has hit the nail on the head. It was 300. So the students at 90 went all the way to 300. Now, where do you think that the students who were already at 300, where do you think they went? Where do you think the students from 300 went? If the students from 90 could go to 300, the best students with the best teachers, the best results, what was their best number?
$450?
Sorry?
450?
450. 300 became 450. So once again, a big leap, but in the ballpark. So 300 remained 300. Charles. They dropped. All right. All right. They went to 2,900 words per minute. Question is it even possible? But indeed it is. Yeah. So that is one case study that how investing in our strengths at what we already are good at is our best winning chance, is our best fighting chance, is our best survival chance, and the best way to live our lives. We have all heard of those football players, rugby players, basketball players who have scored that one home run, who have scored that one perfect score, all by practicing all through their lives. And then the rest of their life, they live hoping to find and reach that score again. Can you think how painful living like that is? It's very likely that it is an acquired, thought process. It's an acquired belief. It's an acquired, desire to be that way. But if you pick up something that is naturally yours, your body, mind, and soul is naturally attuned to, these winnings, these home runs could come to you every single day. I know the coach who coaches the youngest boy to climb the Himalayas. And what he said was that I took on this boy when he was 22, but he had climbed the Himalayas at the age of 17. And what he says is that his parents were not aware, but had intuitively, every step of the way, encouraged the child to live his strengths. And that made a tremendous amount of difference in the way that the child was able to train and the child was able to do what he wanted to. So this quote says that I hardly had to make any effort because the child was already in a zone. So every single time that you are in a zone, you are in a flow, something is easy for you to come to, a way of thinking is naturally you are drawn to, you should remember that that is your very natural strength. If you spend your life trying to be good at everything, you will never be great at anything. And that was Tom Rath, an American psychologist who was part of the Clifton Study and Research Group. And I'll just take about a couple of minutes to talk to this slide, and this is a little more taking us back into history and why the lens of strengths has gained so much momentum, right? This story started about 120, 130 years ago, where the first forces in psychology said that the human mind needs to be studied because everybody's sick and the mind is sick. So let's get into the mind and figure out everything that's wrong with you. The behaviorist second force of psychology said, hey, you cannot study the mind because you cannot read the mind and the mind is not visible. So what is not visible cannot be studied. It cannot be quantified. So hence, let's study behavior. What did these two gentlemen start doing? They started experimenting on rats. They started experimenting on mice, guinea pigs, dogs, monkeys. And their approach was always the same. Some form of torture treatment. Give them shock or leave them hungry. And eventually they will do what you want them to do. But there was a huge uproar around this kind of behavior modification because people said that human beings are not just about hunger and torture. And you cannot bend our free will just by depriving us of something. So what is the role of free will in this? What is the role of motivation in this? What is the role of personal goodness? Where does that get consumed? How does that come to light? And that's a third wave that came in about humanistic psychology. And we have all heard of these gentlemen who speak of the theory of motivation. They speak about food, shelter, and clothing being the very basic of needs. And then everything else is successive in terms of wanting emotional security, financial security, country's social and economic political stability, so that it provides another level of layer of security. Love. But finally, it is the human experiences that we all need to find that takes us. That was the peak of Maslow's pyramid of self-actualization. Interestingly, researchers came and said that that is still not enough. Because we don't go through peak experiences every single day. It may happen and may not happen. And what happens after it has happened? It just goes away. Where do you go back to? Do you fall back at the bottom of the pyramid? Do you work yourself all the way up again? What do you do? So it became about every single day how you live your life. Every single day, what is the self-talk that you're having? Every single day, that what motivates you beyond your sense of responsibility. All of you are most likely parents over here. All of you are children to your parents. All of you might be teachers. All of you might be leaders. So yes, there is a role that you have adopted, and then there is a responsibility that comes with that role. But are you a collection and mass of your responsibility or your personalities? No. How do you every single day go about taking decisions that don't just feel good, that are right for you, right or right for those who you are directly working with, and at large good for the nation? That cannot come from a broken mindset. It cannot come from a deprived thinking. And that is the fourth force that we are today living and dealing with, is the power of positive psychology. And within that, each one of us need to understand that there is a potential, not performance potential, positive psychology potential. It is like a valence that is available to each one of us. It depends on our appetite, whether we want to take it up or not. It's like the Bohr's atomic energy of molecule. Our will is this free-spirited atom that needs enough excitation to be able to jump from an inner latent circle to an outer active circle. And that's when we make things possible, not just for ourselves, but for the world. But this doesn't come easy. Clifton found out over roughly 33, 34 million tests that they ran across people, with people, that there are a sort of 34 talent themes. And each one of us possess them. And these talent themes, when over a period of time, when we practice, when we layer them on top of skills that we already have and knowledge that we already have, these then converts into strengths. Talents are like muscles. If not used, they wither away. The conventional development approach was to identify areas of improvement. And all of us have done this in our leadership positions. All of us have either filled up an individual development plan for ourselves, or we have asked our teams to fill that up for themselves. We have gone and looked in terms of behaviors that they are not being able to display and hence are not being successful in their roles. And we are always looking to see what can be plugged in that gap so that we become more effective and they become more effective. This is the conventional wisdom. The strengths-based approach talks about identifying talents and figuring out how those talents can be rightly placed within roles, within teams, within larger projects. It's not about fixing failures or ignoring weakness. All of us have something that we are not great at. But those are not the things that need to be fixed. Those are the things that need to be complemented. Those are the things that you need to be able to figure that out and find a pair or a partner or find ways to circumvent it. You cannot spend the rest of your life working on your weakness until it becomes acceptable to the world. It's just a terrible waste of time. These 34 strengths are then divided into 4 different buckets and domains: execution, influencing, relationship, and strategic thinking. And these become really a little more clearer when, as leaders, you might be working with teams to say, how is your team distributed? How are your team strengths distributed, including your own? When I first took up my Clifton Strengths Assessment, I figured that my top 10 strengths had no executing themes on it. And yet, for years, I was handling operations and HR of a large product firm. And I was one of the most successful, youngest executives. How was I doing this without having an executing team? And the answer to that, my dear friend, was my teams. My teams had people who could do tremendous amount of heavy lifting. And I was in a position that I could tremendously influence and build relationship with people. And I was successful in my leadership role because I was always ahead of the curve, thinking 2 steps ahead. 2 steps ahead for myself, for my organization. So what is your team dynamics and what are the personal strengths you bring to the table? There is nothing called as balanced strength because the concept of balance in itself is flawed. Take a look at this. This is a sample of a team strengths grid that was done for a fast-paced agriculture organization, which was reaching out to farmers through satellite imagery to help farmers tell them when to sow seeds, what kind of plants, vegetables to grow, what kind of nurturing and caring that they needed, doing soil analysis, all through satellite. And this is a startup. What they found is that, of course, the team heavily lacked on the influencing bucket. But what's also true is that the group of this team was between 25 and 32. Maybe as the organization grows into the next 5 years, 10 years, they would have to hire executives which balance out the influencing bucket. But for now, the organization is tremendously successful. They are getting huge funding, millions from strategic investment firms, venture capitalist firms. And that's because their largest strength lies in their executing capability, and their relationship and strategic thinking is not far behind. It is balanced. While we are not necessarily looking for balance, but there is a semblance that it is not totally left behind. And with that, I will bring my presentation to a stop and open the floor for questions if you have any. I hope you're doing good on time. I'm not sure if I've overshot.
Yes, indeed, Ruchira, we are doing excellently well on time. And I want to thank you very much indeed for, bringing out the fact and the factor that to each and every single one of us, God has given a special and unique strength on which we can build to be great and mighty leaders. Thank you very much. I can't really thank you enough. And you have really left time enough for us. Friends on call this morning, Rotarians, Retractors, and all friends of Rotary. I know this has triggered a lot of stuff. It has fired up our neurons. I know you have a question and you have a comment. And I don't want to deny any one of you an opportunity. We have reserved ample time for us to be able to delve into this. But to guide us into the Q&A, allow me, colleagues, welcome you, my brother and my friend, immediate past President Jameson Karimani, Your Worship, to please guide us through the Q&A. Jameson, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, for opportunity. I have to take the opportunity, having been an opportunity president, and I thank you very much. And thank you very much, Madam Ruchira, for taking us through that discussion and provoking every one of us here. We are now going into questions, comments, and even compliments. So I do welcome all of us to raise our hand, to put our comments in the chat room as we continue with our discussion. So you are most welcome, colleagues. This is the time. This is the time for us to raise questions, to say whatever I want to say about the presentation. I am looking around for the hands. I'm not seeing them yet, but let me check the chat room and see if there are any questions that have already been put up. I can mainly see compliments. Thank you very much. Excellent presentation. Thank you for your warm acceptance. So I think it could have been a very clear presentation. Yes, I can see a hand of Nuru Nachitende. Nuru Nachitende, please yourself and go ahead and say whatever you would want to say.
Yeah, thank you very much, IPP Jameson. Thank you so much Ruchira. Oftentimes, when you have a talent, it is the environment around you that prevents you developing a talent and the strength. How would you advise for someone to go around a hostile environment that is preventing you from achieving whatever you would love to achieve? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I will
Yeah.
take a number before I call upon you to respond. So allow me to invite Mr. Godfrey Viekwaso to please unmute yourself and go ahead. I want to say.
Thank you very much, IPP, and thanks, President, for the wonderful fellowship, and our guest speaker. Thank you so much for the insightful knowledge you've shared. My question is about the model you referred to. You say there's an assessment model that we can use to assess our strength. Kindly remind me about the model and whether this model is available online or whether there are specific places where one needs to go to take that assessment. Thank you.
Yes, yes.
Thank you very much. Allow me now to invite our DGE, Dr. Honorable Mike Sebaru. Please, you are welcome to make your comment or question.
Yeah, good morning. And thank you for the presentation, great presentation indeed. Now, strength usually stand out in areas where shortage of that kind of strength and attribute. How do you encourage people who are operating in an ecosystem of strength to complement each other? Because normally the one with strength complements those without, trying to get them up. But in a situation where strength is competitively available, how do you advise such a setup to maximize the strength by complementing and supplementing the strength within their ecosystem? Thank you.
Thank you very much, our DGE. There is a question in the chat room from, I think it is from Sylvia. There is a question which says, what do I do if I have many talents and I would like to develop all of them? What happens if I have many talents and I want to develop all of them? I think it is from Annette Nakayanja. Then there is another question, which is, this one is from Charles. What happens in a situation where one's weakness exceeds their strengths? What happens if one's weaknesses exceed their strengths? I think I now invite you to first handle those set of questions as we pick on more later. You are welcome here to respond to those questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Karimani. And what I will do is, I think a lot of your questions, all of your questions more or less have a lot of interlap and overlap. So let me build this up a little more for you. Let me expand this a little for you. And I think each one of you will get the answers that you're seeking for. So first and foremost, you can go to the internet. I have just pasted the link on the chat to go and take your Clifton Strengths Finder, at least top 5. There are two options that you will have. The Clifton Strengths Finder will ask you to take the entire 34 assessment report. You anyway have to do the full report, and that will maximum take you 30 to 40 minutes, not more than that. And it is an assessment of the way you think. So there are no right or wrong answers. There is no judgment. There is no prejudice around this, right? So it's really, really, it's not something that is dependent on your personality, your preference, your background, your history, whether you are coming from a better economic background, lower economic background, whether your gender is male, female, or whatever, whether it's a good environment you are in or an abusive environment, it doesn't matter. It's a way of thinking is what this assessment brings out. You have the option of paying $20 and taking the top 5, finding out your top 5 strengths. And at a later time that you want to explore your entire range of 34, you can always do that. But my thing is that the top 5 to begin with is a very good place to go, right? So that's one. Second is, do all strengths need to be developed? You can, you may, of course. But it need not be your starting point. When you are starting off, it makes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of emotional, physical, mental effort to build the top 5. And once your top 5, you have under control. And every single time it's a matter like we of exercise. So when we strengths, we do a little bit of cardio, we do a little bit of, depending on whether you have a knee ailment or you have a stomach ailment or you want to strengthen your core, we spend a little extra time building that. So this is the same format we use. We take our initial top 5 and spend time sharpening first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. And then we see how the first and the fifth interplay, how the second and the third interplay, how the second and the fifth interplay. And how do you begin to make decisions based not just on single strengths, but a combination of multiple strengths. And it's about maturity. You become more and more mature in the way you apply these strengths, the more you practice them. And it's a lifelong journey. Second is about, I think Charles had a question. I want to be able to answer that. Sam, you have asked, a lot of you have asked about how do you build your strengths. Please look at the link I have given that you can find out the top 5. So Charles has asked what happens in a situation when one's weakness far exceeds their strength. We don't talk the language of weakness. We talk the language of lesser strengths. And in most cases, it doesn't most of the time matter because it is mostly your strengths that when not applied correctly or overused is dragging you down. And I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example of this. I had a very senior head of engineering executive I was coaching, and he was 21, 22 years in experience, right? And he came to coaching and we were doing a Gallup strengths piece with this particular individual. And he had something called as individualization as one of his strengths, which allows, it's a unique talent team that allows you to see what is unique about others. How these people can talk to you for the first 5 minutes, 10 minutes and understand what is God's given unique strength in you. They know exactly how to place these team members, where to place them, what kind of role to give them, what kind of work will motivate them. They generally have a very intuitive understanding of that. But this talent team also means that they can do the same for themselves. They know what they need. And this manager, this leader at one point was tremendously self-focused, for which reason? He had taken up coaching courses. He had gone back to university. He was working with multiple projects, everything on his own. He was initiating things. He was consumed by everything he needs to do to get ahead in life. And when his appraisal came, he went to his manager and said that you have given me an average rating. How can you do that to me? See the number of things I have done for myself, and yet you give me an average rating? The HR lady looked at him and said that I'm very impressed and pleased with all that you have done for yourself. Can you please tell me, what have you done for your team? And this leader was stunned into silence. In the last year that he had been so busy building himself up, his entire -1 layer had quit. They had all resigned. This person did not have a succession in place. This leader did not have other strong leaders that he was grooming, and he was not taking people along, despite individualization being in his top 5. He was shamed into silence. A year later, I met this guy, and this is after 6 months ago, when Corona was happening, when it had come down in our country, right? So I met this person. I said, "Hey, how are you doing?" And 15 minutes, he just spoke nonstop about everything he's doing with his team. "Oh, Ruchira, you see, this team, when I joined, and this is the problem I saw this team was happening. This particular team was not speaking to this team. There was no process in place. That's why people were running from pillar to post. There was nobody who was mentoring them and guiding them. Now I take individual sessions. I'm doing this, I'm doing that." I'm like, what happened to the leader who could not stop talking about himself? And today he can't stop talking about his team. So there's nothing called as weakness. It is our strengths either overplayed or underplayed. And our strengths, just like they have power, they have something called edges. And these edges over a period of time need to be blunted, otherwise they can bleed somebody else. It's the overuse of something that makes it become bitter. And that's why you need a strengths coach to be able to also be able to tell you in your growth journey, in your leadership journey, that what is it that people might be perceiving about you that you have no idea about. I was with an organization where this co-founder, he was a young kid, had ideation in his top 5. Ideation is generally a theme that allows a lot of people to come up with ideas, come up with powerful ideas, be problem solving, be creative, and it's a great theme. The edge of this, that's the power of this theme. The edge of this theme is that every single idea that you have, and every minute you're coming up with ideas, you believe each idea is beautiful. Each idea is God's gift to mankind. What happened? This person was initiating 100 initiatives every single day and did not have a very good sense that which idea is a winning idea and which idea is really a daydreaming idea. So it's a great talent theme to have when you are in a strategic position, because it allows you to think of how to navigate situations, how to navigate geopolitical situations, economic situations, where contracts are getting stuck, how to move around that. It's a great thing to have. It's a great thing to have. And especially if you're a startup founder or it's lovely to have people with ideation in the top 5. But if you don't mature with time to understand that every idea is not a winning idea, every idea is not a $1 billion idea, then you have problems. So that's why it's not about weakness. There is so much to be done with your strengths itself that I don't think you will have enough time to function and balance out your weakness. The weakness has to be dealt differently, where you figure out that you are always surrounded by people who complement your thinking or the lack of certain thinking. Now think about this organization, this new agriculture tech organization. The team certainly has a gap in terms of influence. So there's somebody else who needs to have a strong influencing team to make sure that overall what a young team of 25, 26, 27 years old, what they don't have, that is compensated by a leader having a strong influence team. So that's how we work together. That's how we work in collaboration. That's how we work in conjunction. Nulu had this question about hostile environments. It doesn't matter about what the environment is. This is a way of thinking. And the interesting part is the more people know the way they think and the way they apply themselves allows them to find unique ways of problem solving in a hostile environment. It is the ultimate lifeline you can give somebody, because this need not be taught.
It is inborn in them. They're breathing it every single day. They just need to be taught how to measure it, how to build upon it, how to practice it every single day. It's like, I'm sure all of you have seen Harry Potter. It's not about learning how to do magic alone. It's also about learning how to control the magic and where you apply them and which magics you apply and which magics you do not. It's about that. Have I been able to answer, Mike? I don't know if I've been able to answer your question.
Yes, thank you very much. And you have tackled almost all, and even people who had hands up, I think.
Yes. So interestingly, I'll give you a very quick piece that we are also doing in Uganda with HLB Jim Roberts and James. Sorry?
There is a question from Sylvia where she asks us as to when do we take the weaknesses to the gym? That is her question. And I think the last one is from Sammy Roket. What are the key guidelines or steps to take turning talents or strengths into business or money? I think
I'm sorry, I didn't get the
those
question.
are the last two questions. We are done. The last one is, how do we turn the strength into money?
All right, I think the one that speaks about when do we take the strengths to
So
gym
you can
is,
handle those ones.
yeah, I think I've answered that one. You take your strengths to gym every single day, and you work the top 5 over the next 6 months, and then you go down the list to do the 6 to 10 and then 10 to 15, right? So that way you work on them over a period of time. And every single day, it's something that needs to be done every single day. You have to think about it. When you're stuck with a problem, you should think to yourself that, hey, strategic thinking is my number one. Now I'm stuck with this problem. How can I use my most strongest of talent team to solve this problem? And sometimes it's not necessarily the number one that you use. Your default position can be 2, 3, and 4. What a lot of people cannot solve through logic can be solved through relationships. Think about the terrorist problem that organizations and countries have. A lot of the time, it is not about, it's about power. It's always about power. But the only way to be able to deal with power is through empathy. It's through dialogue. It's through appealing to the human nature, humankind. So influence and relationship will come the most to play, not execution. So certain situations demand that we use certain themes, right? And how do you make money out of talent, themes, and strengths? Oh my God. When you are able to effectively solve your business problems using your talent themes, you will automatically be less stressed. You will automatically be more effective in your work. You will automatically find ways of doing things that are far more creative than maybe your education has taught you, that your skills allow you and your knowledge base allows you. So it becomes an art. It becomes a practiced art rather than just a science. And the other way of making money from strengths is become a strengths coach. Really, truly. And I'm sure James is on his way to do that, because we are doing a lot of great things with Jim Roberts, and partner James, that I've known him over the last year, is highly, highly dedicated to becoming an executive and leadership coach. We are also doing a very crucial and beautiful piece in terms of culture transformation management at Jim Roberts that involves not just coaching as a practice, but putting in an audit industry, not in a healthcare industry where, yes, people are the center of everything, not in a nursing industry, but in a hardcore number-based economy, which is about audits, which is about financial services management, making people the heart and soul of that business. How do you begin to change the lens and transform the vision that people have, or the idea, the stuck-up idea that people have about auditors being policemen, to auditors being your partners and making you successful in your business, teaching you new ways of doing things so that your customers are more successful. So there is a culture transformation piece we are doing with them. We are most certainly, we have implemented, and we are in the initial days and process of implementing the strengths-based culture. James himself has taken up his top 5. A lot of his senior leaders have taken up their top 5. And we are now in the process of putting something together where people have a shared understanding of each other's talent themes. See, my talent themes are not for me to consume alone. Organizations like Harley-Davidson, organizations like Tata's, a lot of large organizations like Coca-Cola who adopted the strengths language, and this information is available publicly on Google if you want. In their induction program, they make people take their top 5. And then a lot of people put it in their mail signatures. A lot of them put it on their LinkedIn profiles, and a lot of people paste it on their workstations. Let me show that to you, as a matter of fact. Let me show that to you.
As we try to wind up.
Yeah, so you can look at these organizations: Standard Chartered Bank, Wells Fargo, Starbucks, Airtel. And see, even on LinkedIn, people are mentioning their top 5s. So it becomes a part of your life, it becomes a part of the language.
All right, thank you very much, Madam Rukia, for that insightful presentation and responding to the questions that were posed. I would like to end it here as I hand over to the President. Thank you very much, President, for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, President Jameson, for grabbing the opportunity. But more than that, thank you very much, Ruchira, for sharing these great nuggets of truth that I'm sure that are quite transformational, not only in our lives. Rotarians are leaders. So thank you very much. But because you are introduced by a doctor, I cannot find any befitting person other than Dr. Timothy Basima to move a vote of thanks. Dr. Tim, you're welcome to move a vote of thanks.
Thank you very much, President, for this opportunity to move a vote of thanks to a seasoned coach, Ruchila, who has taken us through the strength-based leadership tips. A very good interactive session that has been lively, where she has given us hints on the strength equation to have a talent, investment, and strength. She said that is everybody's equation in life. Thank you very much, Ruchila, for giving us tips and ideas on how to navigate in situations and how to be strong leaders, how to live high up in the leadership sky. Ruchila, there is a certificate of appreciation that is presented to you and signed by the president of the Rotary Club of Kampala Daybreak. We appreciate and we pray that one day, wherever you are, you become a Rotarian. Indeed, your presentation reflects a Rotarian in you. Thank you very much, and may you be blessed and be with us all the time. Thank you. Over to you, President.
Thank you. Thank you, Brother Timothy. Thank you so very much for that honor. And I love the certificate. It's so well done. Thank you so very much. I'm so delighted to be a part of this beautiful community. Thank you so much. Thank you to all the Rotarians present here.
Thank you very much, Ruchira, indeed. And the certificate will definitely be presented to you through your ambassador, AG James Onyweni. Friends, our time is really fast spent. I'm just kindly requesting that you allow us strictly 5 minutes. Sergeant, borrow us 5 minutes to enable us to wind up our fellowship very well. But as we wind up, I would like to invite you, Rotarian Yedida Nyakato, to give us the statistics for today in the most precise manner that you can. Rotarian Yedida, you are welcome, and please give us the statistics.
Thank you so much, CMP. Good morning, Rotarians, guests, and friends of Rotary on call. It's been a great pleasure this morning. The participation has been fantastic. We've been blessed with 211 participants altogether. We've had 50 clubs and 50 Rotary clubs and 2 Rotaract clubs. daybreakers. We've had 27 participating, giving us a percentage of 81. If you will allow me, I'll quickly run through the clubs. And we have Arua Eco City, Bukoto, Bloba, Bweyogere Nambole, Bwebaja, East Club Untinda, East Club of Uganda Global, Entebbe, Kabarole, Kajansi, Kalanga Lasese Island, Kampala, Kampala Alebad, Kampala East, Kampala Impala, Kampala Kawempe, Kampala Metro, Kampala Nsambya, Kampala South, Kampala Springs, Kansanga, Chiboga, Chira, Kisasi Chanja, Chitante, Chiwatule, Chiwenda, Kololo, Chengera, Machindye, Mengo, Morning Stars, Morning Tide of Golobi, Mukono Central, Muyenga Tank Hill, Najera, Nakasero, Namasuba, Nansana, Natete, Ntinda Metro, Rubaga Lakeview, Seguku, Sonde, Sunrise, Wakiso, and Inahwil, Kampala. We've also been blessed by quite a number of CMPs, my CMP, and we've also had VCC 90 for our neighboring districts present with us. With that, I hand over back to you. Thank you so much. Good morning.
Thank you very much, Rotarian Yedida Nyakato, for doing what the twins do. Friends, before I invite you, Super Lady Jane, to give us the final toast, I want to say thank you once again to each and every single one of you for making the time to come and be with us. And to you, Ruchira, wow, it is so good to have you, and I'm sure that we will have you back again. But I want to, in a special way, appreciate our Rotary leaders that have always been at daybreak. These have been led by none other than the past district governors, led by PDG Xavier. Thank you very much for making time to be with us. DGE, Dr. Honorable Mike Sevaru, thank you very much for always being with the daybreakers. It is indeed a joy to have you. The past assistant governors, thank you very much. Changemaker assistant governors led by our own Dean of Ages, Kai. Thank you very much. I cannot thank you enough. And when it comes to you, our international partners with whom we trade in the same currency, including coins that have been led by your Dean, your POP, Don, and VCC, Samwanje. And to you, my comrades, the Changemaker presence, wow, what can I say? I can only say thank you very much. It always feels warm to have all of you with us every Thursday. I pray that God will give us the grace at daybreak to return all these numerous visits that you Rotarians make to us every Thursday morning. Friends, I wish I could single out everybody, but I will not forget our Changemaker ages. Thank you very much for being with us every Thursday. And friends, to each and every single one of you, we appreciate you. Allow me right now, welcome you, Rotarian Jen Opito, to give us the final test, and we bring this to a close. Rotarian Jen, over to you.
Thank you so much, President, for this honored chance. I would like to say to all of you there, from all of us here at Kampala Daybreak, I request you to lift up your teacups and coffee cups, and we toast to Rotary International.
Rotary, the world over.
Rotary, the world over. Rotary, the world over. Thank you very much, friends. It is good to have you. May you be blessed, and may you be a blessing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for having me. And it was lovely being here with all of you. Take care.
Thank you very much.
Nice to have
Thank you,
you,
Frederick.
Chira.
You're welcome, Ruchira.
The pleasure is all mine, Frederick.
Yeah. Always an honor to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. AG James.